Great prices and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
That's right here for the Seawood Cougars, and that one is denied.
Another chance for Adams, and he hits it.
Trying to thread the needle, and he threw it away. That's unforced error. Here comes the game. And Asilian makes up for the mistake.
Entirely new crew out here. Next time we get a whistle, Adams scores again. Adams gets the put back, and he puts it right back again.
What a beautiful bounce. But Oli, who Euro steps by a defender for the layup. Another dime for... Asilian finds it.
That's kind of a big day. I mean... What are the really, really big days on the sports calendar, in fact? It's right up there with last Thursday, where you get the NCAA tournament. Maybe this is some people's favorite day of the year, in fact. It is opening day in baseball, and it is the first half of the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. Now, some of you might be still in your little cloud, and I understand that. And I don't mean to say it like that, and I hated the way that sounded as it came out, so I apologize. Yeah, but it shouldn't be that way, and I'm sorry. But in the cloud that is, whatever it is, Brown Global Basketball. I think it's time we'll start looking forward, and I know you will as well. Who's next as Richard Pitino and his family go off to Cincinnati, Ohio, and take over the Xavier program. And everybody's got their favorite, whether it's James Borrego or Steve Alford or Cody Toppert or Isaac Chu, or there's a bunch of names out there to be the next coach at the University of New Mexico. Good morning to you, boys and girls. It is Thursday, and a merry one to you, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. How you living?
What's going on?
What a day yesterday, huh?
Big day.
I got so much reaction to the conversation that we had with Richard Pitino yesterday. And people calling me, I got a bunch of texts and emails that I never got to, that came in afterwards. An insane amount of hits, I guess, on the interwebs, right, on the podcast, people listening to it. And if you haven't heard it yet, you're welcome to go find it. It's on our website, sportsanimалabq.com, and you can click on the opening drive. And it was about 19 minutes, and Richard was unbelievably candid and open, and I felt very sincere. And the reaction I got was like 98% just that. I don't know what the reaction. No, I mean, honestly, there's going to be the people who are, you don't want to be here, bleep you, and whatever. Okay, I get it, and maybe you'll get over it, maybe you won't. But I think the majority of people were like, you know what, dude, Man's going to make over $4 million a year. He gave us 4 years. He made us better. He did sound sincere, and I believe him. I mean, I think I know him well enough. I'm not going to say he and I are super tight homies, but I think I know him well enough to I know that he did appreciate it, and I thought he was incredibly sincere.
I do agree with that. I think the majority of the reaction on social media to the post about the interview and sharing our conversation with him was just that of the understanding of the business side of it, people believing what he had to say. And you can believe that. You can say this is an awesome fan base, this is a special building, and not have to be here for 25 years. But for some people, I get it. That's their fandom. They are a fan of said university, and thus, if you're there, you should be there forever. And then if you happen to leave, bleep off, don't want to hear anything you have to say. But that was a very small reaction to it. And I did get a lot of comments about people that didn't want to hear what he had to say, but listened to it and then appreciated what he had to say.
Yeah, I think that's right. And you know, I got the texts and the emails. Like you know, most people were you know, I appreciate him, and I didn't think like here. I'll give you a few of them that came in late, and I like Stephanie said. And again, if you didn't hear it, he was very appreciative to the fan base. It was a very much, you know, it's not you, it's me kind of a thing, right? You know, we're breaking up, but it's not you, it's me, it's the opportunity, it's you know, and I felt the sincerity there. He talked about getting back east. I did let him off the hook. I mean, with all due respect, Cincinnati, Ohio isn't back east. It's back easter from here, and certainly closer to home, and it's in the Big East, so I'll give him that. But it's closer, and I get it. And Michigan's in the Eastern time zone. Is Cincinnati Eastern time zone? I think it is. But whatever. I mean, I'm not going to play semantics with the man. I thought he did. I thought he was sincere, and he and I have had conversations over the time. JJ, I know he appreciated it here. But I think what really hit people, we might be able to run a little piece of that again, JJ, today. There was a part at about 8:17 yesterday, right? Or 8:13, I wrote it down, where he said, you know, I wouldn't say I was broken, and I'm paraphrasing. I wouldn't say I was broken when I got here, but I was certainly down. He said, I felt horrible, and again, paraphrasing, that I had to move my family from Minnesota because I got fired, and I was really down, and this place basically, and again, paraphrasing it, built him back up and gave him his confidence back. And I never heard him talk like that, had you?
No.
It wasn't about basketball. It wasn't even really about family. It was about where he was emotionally, where he was internally. And I thought it was great. And so Stephanie sent me a text after listening to it yesterday afternoon. It said, thank you for this interview. I was emotional as he spoke of how this community helped him heal and regain his confidence. I hadn't thought about that at all. I'm so glad we could help him. He's a special man. I appreciate how he explained why he left. So many factors that make sense. I agree that we will get a good coach and the program will continue to rise. Thanks again. It's from Stephanie. It's kind of why we do this, man. Every once in a while we have a day like yesterday that makes me feel, well, I shouldn't say every once in a while. But yesterday made me feel good because I felt that you guys really got something out of it, and I don't know. Georgia says, Jeff, thank you. That was a great interview with Coach Pitino. I was upset last night when I got a text to give me the news, but after hearing the interview, I have so much respect for him. He is a class act, and I'm very grateful for his time here. Again, thank you. And I think that's what most people got out of that conversation. I know he's going to talk to Jeff Grammer. He's going to go on with a podcast with Jeff, I think, today. But I was appreciative of it. And then there's this, okay? And Bobby said, losing the coach, I've not heard anything about the crime and poor schools. This is not a great place to raise kids. I'm sure that was a big factor that nobody wants to talk about. It's from Bobby. Bobby, I'll tell you this. If he didn't bring it up, I'm not going to sit here and assume it. I raised my child here. I think my child came out pretty good. You're raising a child here. I think your child's doing pretty well, right?
Yeah, it's not, again, not one of those situations where you deny anything.
Nobody's denying the crime stats or the education stats, no.
But I think the places that the coaches are able to send their kids are pretty good, too.
Yeah, and Bobby, if he or his wife or you got something that you know that I don't said something that okay, but I'm not going to sit here and put words. He was pretty open and pretty candid, and if you know something, I'm listening. But I'm not going to sit there and assume that. Well, because of the crime in the poor schools, I don't know. He said his kids are going to the academy. The academy is one of the top-rated prep schools in America. It just is. Now, yeah, am I fortunate enough? Yes, my daughter did go to the academy. Yes. And I was able to take advantage of that. Yes. And I know how fortunate I am. His kids, as he said, his kids are in private schools too. So I'm not going to go there with you. I'm just not, unless he did. All right, 505-246-0610. So what's next? Everybody's got a favorite, JJ. We talked about a lot of names yesterday. Kurt Roth was in here. And I thought, by the way, the conversation with Kurt, I thought was really, really educational for a lot of people too. As far as how, where, what the money goes to, what does NIL mean, all of those things about it. I thought, Kurt was great. Tom Crean's a name, the former Indiana coach. Absolutely, James Borrego's a name. And the people that I know who are close to James, and I told you, I don't know James. I met him once. I don't know him well. But I do know people who are close to him. Evidently, he is interested. I heard Alfred's interested. I've not talked to Steve. The name Cody Toppert interests me a bit. It's an NBA guy who was on Penny Hardaway's staff, who went to the Albuquerque Academy. I did text with Cody yesterday. Isaac Chu absolutely should get a look. What do you think of the Isaac Chu thing? How will Lobo fan feel if it's a first-time head coach, as opposed to, because Colorado State just promoted their top assistant, Ali Farokhmanesh, yesterday, got the job after Nico Medved left Colorado State to go to Minnesota. He was the guy that was on that bench. How would people feel? I
don't think it would win the press conference.
Okay.
Like, it won't be a headline. I think a lot of people would be torn. They'd probably feel like the program settling. They wouldn't be able to get Craig Neal out of their mind about the situation that happened there, even though it's not the same situation
not even close
at all. But that's the way fans function.
Here's one thing. I don't think anybody knows Isaac. Like, do you know what his voice sounds like? Like, if I played you three people, would you know which one was him? If I played you two? I think that, like, people knew Noodles. People, there was like right? People felt like they knew Noodles. And there was a big, when Steve left, there was a big campaign amongst the big supporters. Like the sixth man had a letter to Krebs, and if you don't hire him, then we're all out. One of those kind of extortion things.
You had a roster
that you wanted to keep together, right? Yeah. Absolutely, they were trying to keep Alex Kirk here, right? They wanted to keep that roster together, and they did. And Noodles went to the tournament the first year, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they?
They did,
yeah. And then it went south. I think I have no doubt Isaac Chu's a really good coach and obviously a really good recruiter. I think to your point, he wouldn't win the press conference because I don't think anybody really feels they know him. Right? He's been here, however long, and I don't think they know him. I don't know what wins the press conference, and I don't know that that's the important part of this, to be honest with you. What's going to win you games in November and next February?
Yeah, and that's why I don't necessarily have a favorite. I think with the names that are out there, there's a lot of good candidates, and these jobs are so different that you don't have to hire someone that's an ace recruiter that knows the ends of every prep school or high school. It's part of it, but with this landscape, the transfer portal, name, image, and likeness, I think that actually is what opens up your candidate pool to maybe guys that haven't spent a lot of time in college or been there in a minute to be able to come in and be successful.
Look what UNLV did, right? They went and just hired two coaches who were on TV that have been out of it for a minute, and not probably. I mean, as name, image, and likeness has exploded in the past 2 to 3 years, both Dan Mullen, their football coach, and Josh Pastner, their new basketball coach, have been on TV and been out of it, right? And so then you surround yourself with people. If they're good recruiters, if they're good coaches, and then they can surround themselves with people who can do that business side of it, the recruiting side, and you got a good collective and good NIL fund, then I think it can work. We're going to see. And that would be somewhat the Tom Crean model, or even the James Borrego piece, where I have no doubt James is a good coach. I have no doubt. And I'll even go to the Cody Topper. I don't want to bulk them together, but two guys whose main background is in the NBA, although Cody did coach in college basketball with Penny Hardaway at Memphis. But two guys who've got NBA experience, and every guy who signs to play college basketball, what's he want to do?
Make money.
And go to the NBA, right? Make money and go to the NBA. So
Probably make more money at college than you will playing professional
some of them absolutely. And in fact, you know what now? The majority of them will make more money playing college basketball than they will play pro basketball. Yeah. 100%. I don't know what Mustafa Amsil made this year, but do you think he'll make more this year playing basketball or next year?
Probably take him a couple years.
I mean, I'm just saying. Not that he's not good. So we're open for business today. It's opening day for baseball, and you can get in on that if you'd like. We got BYU, Alabama, Maryland, Florida, Arizona, Duke, Arkansas, Texas. And when we come back, speaking of Maryland, and Villanova, Nova sounds like it's filled. I'll tell you who that is. And, well, I kind of just hinted to you. 505-246-0610 is how to get here today. Area code 505-246-0610. Your emails come in at Jeff@sportsanimалabq.com. JJ@sportsanimалabq.com. When we come back, the Nova job, the one that Richard Pitino evidently was offered, according to some Twitter people on 2 days ago. Yeah, that filled, evidently. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
NBA veteran Jim.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports. is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood.
Remember on, I don't even know what day today is. Tuesday, I guess it was. There was like a burner account or a fake, what was it, a fake account, JJ? That, where are all my emails going? I can't even find them. That said Richard Pitino was going to Villanova. That was a burner account. Well, that job evidently is filled. This morning, the reports are coming out that Kevin Willard, the Maryland coach, who, by the way, they play today against Florida, has informed his players that he intends on accepting the head coach at Villanova. No3 Sports, NO3, is that North 3? What's NO3 Sports? Do you know that site?
On 3?
No, it's NO.
NO3? I don't know. NO3.
Leading the country in spreadage of college sports. Well, it could be. Anyway, there's a report out there today that says that. So we'll see. Anyway, 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff@sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. You get BYU Alabama today. That'll be the first game. We got the games here on the Sports Animal for you. And then Maryland, Florida, Arizona, Duke, and Arkansas, Texas Tech. I want to hit on something that Richard Pitino said yesterday in regards to the schools without football and the money. And in the conversation that we had with him, and this is becoming a bigger issue. Villanova would be a school like that, all the Big East schools. And it's something that a minority of you have been pushing for. You want to get rid of football. And it's just not going to happen. But, you know, let's get rid of football. Somebody said to me yesterday, let's just drop down to 1AA or FCS or whatever. Like because whatever. The revenue that will be able to be shared amongst those schools. And you see what I just sent you?
Yeah, I saw that story, and there's been a lot more conversations because
it's gotten louder.
Well, that Kevin Willard, you're like, well, why are you leaving Maryland to go to Villanova? What?
All right. Well, here's the deal. Like there's a lot of talks about the ability of schools that don't have football to be able to pay more in revenue share for their basketball programs. And Yahoo's Ross Dellinger did a big story on this, and he talked about the spending issue. He said the spending issue looms as a serious enough threat that it is emerged as a critical discussion point and agenda item within the Power League administrative meetings in the SEC, Big Ten, ACC, and Big 12. He says that SEC's Commissioner Greg Sankey and other high-ranking officials talked about it this month in interviews with Yahoo. Sankey told Yahoo, quote, people have raised the issue with me, and they are raising it more frequently right now. It's something that we are having conversations about at every meeting. I'm confident in our school's ability to compete, but it does raise a set of questions. That's the end of his quote. Now, what does it all mean? All right, so let me give you, right, this is with the House settlement and the revenue sharing, and you're hearing that with schools that are going to get, opt in at the 20.5 million, JJ, and so basically 75% is going to go to football, 15% to men's basketball, 5% to women's basketball, and the other 5% to whatever other sports. That's kind of the model that right, which means there's going to be about $4 to $5 million into football or into men's basketball. And maybe even less, because here's the Yahoo story says, based on the numbers that have been floating around, Power 4 teams, and this could even be group of 5 teams who opt into the full number, will have about $2 to $4 million allocated for men's basketball. Okay, that's for revenue sharing. And the guy who's quoted in here is Eddie Nunez. You might have heard of him. He's the athletic director at Houston. Eddie's quote says this: Big East schools next year. That's Xavier. That's St. John's. That's Villanova. He said Big East schools next year can pay $6 million or more to their men's basketball team, and that's a game changer. Right? If they've got $6 million and you got 2 to 4, Richard's got an advantage right away, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
And now all of a sudden the power schools are going, wait, what are we talking about? And so that's why you heard a lot of Richard yesterday talking about, he said, I don't dislike football, but we've got an advantage now because we don't have to share our money with football. Gene Taylor's the athletic director at Kansas State. Quote, I know our coaches are worried. They've openly talked about it. That's where the rumors start to fly about circumventing the cap. Are we going to be able to go, or are we going to go back under the table again? End quote. Paying guys under, like remember the NIL is now, it's legal, right? until we got to circumvent this cap. Yahoo talks about, I mean, this isn't just like I shouldn't even say just like Houston or Kansas State because they're big schools, but like the Blue Bloods, Kentucky, North Carolina, Kansas, they're going to place a heavy emphasis on football. And the athletic director at Kansas, his name is Travis Goff, quote, at a place where football matters, we cannot justify $7 to $9 million to be shared with basketball. This is real.
Oh, no.
Well, this is first world problems now. Don't get me wrong, but it's a real issue. It's funny that's
have enough money.
Right. No. Look, Jeff Jackson, who's the commissioner of the Missouri Valley Conference, quote, he doesn't really feel for the Power Fours. Quote, I don't have a whole lot of empathy for the A4s, financial concerns. Welcome to our world, which is exactly where you are with that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Complaining that you don't have enough millions of dollars.
But it's, do you understand now why maybe Richard, people are saying Xavier's not better than New Mexico. It's not a better job. You guys stop. I'm not saying that's a better city, better university. If you were a basketball coach, well, he doesn't get $15,000 to pay. No, you're right. It'll probably get, their gym gets 10-2 is the max, so they'll get 8, 9, 10 a night.
Yeah, but they've had more postseason success.
Way more. I mean, that's not even arguable.
We don't have to worry about conference realignment because of football.
I mean, do we have an argument? For those of you who are saying Xavier's not a better job or it's a lateral move, do we have an argument that the Big East after next year, and you can even argue before, but after next year, is a better, more stable circumstance for basketball? We're not arguing that, right? Are we arguing 4 point whatever million is better than 2.2 million? We're not, are we? And now you have this when you say he's got the advantage of much more NIL money or rev sharing money to go out and get players because basketball is the emphasis. There is no football with which to share. You understand it now? I think most of you did anyway. Dillinger writes this, and Matt Norlander at CBS said it's been discussed for a year plus by the Big East. That their programs are going to be well equipped against the other high majors who have to play second fiddle to football. He said, quote, "Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun." That's what Norlander said. Yeah. Parrish says there's no way the SEC and the Big Ten are ever going to let the Big East outspend them in basketball. If that becomes a reality, it won't be for long. And if they've got to change the rules again or just break them, they will, but they'll never operate from a disadvantaged place. Basically what he said is, you know what, if it does it, they don't like it, they're going to go back and the SEC and the Big Ten will change the rules. Why? Because they can. Because they can. 505-246-0610. It's just a big piece of a little thing that he said in there yesterday. And I read this article yesterday afternoon, and that piece of Richard talking about not having to share revenue with football just jumped off the table. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This mess.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in
Baseball all day, if that's your thing. 162 game schedule starts today. First one out of the gates will be the Yankees hosting Milwaukee. Or the Rockies open today, JJ. Are they already 14 games back? Dodgers open up at home against Detroit. The Athletics, would they just call them the Athletics now? Are they Sacramento or are they Oakland? What are we calling them? Just the Athletics? Like, you know, I'm literally looking at the scoreboard. It's SCA for Seattle and ARI for Arizona and LAD for LA Dodgers and ATH.
Yeah, they don't want to be called Sacramento.
Why?
Who knows what that?
Isn't that where they're playing?
Franchise.
The Sacramento, whatever. Where the hell are the Rockies?
Better get moving on that stadium for them.
Yeah, they're going to be in Sacramento for one. Maybe they'll be in Albuquerque soon, too. Who knows? All right, let's go 505-246-0610. Chad, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Chad.
Hey, good morning, guys. Just have a question in regards to, or kind of a comment. Not too long ago, you had the interim athletic director on when this discussion was being brought up with the football team. And, you know, should we move down? You're having discussions. What should we do? Is there a possibility to limit it? And in listening to him, he was sharing about all the revenue that's generated from the football team. I think it was about $12 million or so.
Okay.
Just from, like, you know, concessions, tickets.
Television,
he also brought up
TV
the atmosphere that it brings to campus, which, you know, I can appreciate. But with this new realignment, there's got to be less revenue that's going to be coming in ultimately with the TV contract and so forth. What's the point where you say, okay, it's no longer worth it to have a football team and cut our losses and primarily focus on the basketball? Where does that? Is there a point for that? And what would that point? What do you think that point is? Because I don't feel like we're going to have the same kind of revenue stream in this new realignment. And also to say that if we did go just basketball, we would have a lot more. It wouldn't really hurt us. I don't know. I feel like we could. You know, we have a strong, loyal fan base there that's going to fill the pit, and the revenue could then go towards, you know, all the necessary. For players, for coaches and stuff.
Hey, and Chad, is that under the assumption that you feel, and I know a lot of people feel, well, if we get rid of football, and I don't think you're getting rid of football, and I don't think you should, that somehow you'd be in the pack or you'd be in a better conference? Is you think that automatically just gets you there?
I'm not. That would help. I think that would help make a case for a basketball conference, potentially as a basketball-only school. I've only been in town here for 10 years, but I haven't seen a lot of success in the football team where it's been an asset, where it's more dragged us down. You know, obviously we haven't been invited to the Pac-12. So yeah, it could be that, but it could also be where we have just more assets to allocate then to basketball, and just make that our thing, kind of like the Gonzaga. You know,
I get it. Everybody wants. Yeah, everybody points at that. Yeah. All right. No, Chad, thank you for that. I appreciate you. So let me get into that. Everybody thinks I can't tell you how many times have you heard, well, let's just become Gonzaga. If it was that easy, everybody would become Gonzaga, right? I mean, it took Gonzaga a while to become Gonzaga.
When you say drop football, we're going to have more revenue. No, you're going to lose revenue.
And so
because
what
you're
he's
going
saying
to a
is, what is the
smaller
point?
conference. And are you eliminating the football piece, but dropping, because you're not getting a full share. Even if you stayed in the Mountain West,
That's correct.
You're not getting a full share of that revenue. So is eliminating your football portion plus the lost revenue, is that gap big enough to where then you actually come out on top for basketball?
Yeah, and so I don't know what the point is, and I think it's a long way from where we are now. He referenced, I don't think we're going to get as much revenue because the league is changing. In fact, I think you're probably going to get about the same. But as everybody else accelerates, that puts you behind, right? So it's going to feel like less. And I think actually it's probably going to be a little bit more than you're getting now. Okay, but it'll be somewhere very similar to what you're getting now in regards to the football revenue. The answer is you just got to get football going and consistently. And I know I hear all the time, it's just never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. Well, if you tell me it's not, and if you believe it's not, then it won't. And it's somewhat seasonal. We hit now, and it's like, everybody loves to hate on football, and I feel a little bit bad for Jason Eck because I think he's over there trying to build something quietly, and we'll see how that goes. I've gone through this exercise a bit too. I don't know that how many flagship, and this is the flagship university, right? That's one of the terms. Oh, it's a flagship university. How many state flagship universities don't have football? I think New Hampshire plays at the FCS level. Like maybe Vermont,
Delaware.
Yeah, but no, Delaware plays at the FCS level. I mean, that's where Joe Flacco came from.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not.
Yeah, but they play. But he was talking about just getting rid of football.
Yeah, when you have that conversation, I think what you have to realize is eliminating football doesn't keep you at the same revenue stream.
Correct, and it affects everything you're doing, conference-wise. So, well, the Mountain West will still want us because we got great basketball.
Okay, but then they're going to be like, we're slashing your revenue that you get from the
right. You're not getting the full share. You're getting not even a half share. It's a much abbreviated share. Well, but we'll get into the pack. I don't know. Will you? I mean, you know that?
It's not just football, though. Some of those schools just do not like Albuquerque.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. So, I've heard that before. I'm not on that. I'm not on that train. I'm on the train of fix it as opposed to get rid of it. And I know many of you are like, it can never be fixed, Jeff, and it's not good, and it's horrible, and why football? And I understand. And I'm deep in the weeds on this, and I don't pretend to be unbiased on this. I mean, I make my living in college football, and I'm really, really deep, in the bowl world and in college football and in a lot of these conversations. And I've told you, I feel like our town misses out on so much of excitement. I see what college football does for communities. Now, you can argue college basketball does the same thing here at a higher level than in most, and I'll agree with you. I think this is a great college basketball town. And I would argue it's one of the best college basketball towns there is, period. I heard an argument on our station yesterday. Van and Fred were talking about, it's a great college basketball town, but it's not like Tuscaloosa is a college football town. Okay, because they've won at a higher level, right? Because they're a national championship. Well, I'm not even certain. But, Tuscaloosa, Alabama's college football because they've won at that high level for so long. This is a great college basketball town, and you've never been to Sweet 16 in the modern era. Could it be a great college football town? I'd like to believe it could. You want to win. And I understand that. And what does it take? I push back a little on the let's become a Gonzaga because I've heard it so many times. And people say, well, we've got the pit, and we got the support, and we got the fan base. And you do have all that. And you do. But how many people you think want to be a Gonzaga? I'm going to tell you, I'll bet Xavier does. I'll right? Is UConn that? UConn plays independent football. UConn left a conference to go and put football independent because they wanted their basketball back in the Big East. So that's the one place where I could say they put basketball above football. Right? They pulled out of, they were in the American, right? And now football's just floating out there. Did football join? I don't think they did. Yeah. So football's floated. But other than that, and there's no guarantee we'll become Gonzaga. Man, a lot of people try to become Gonzaga. A lot of them. I mean, give me another one. Like, give me another model that's Gonzaga. Is it St. John's? No.
Well,
is it Villanova?
There's a lot of movement in college athletics. We've seen schools move down over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. It's happening now, but The last one that was like a D1 school that dropped was Idaho, right?
In football.
Football.
In football. Yeah, everybody's moving up. Yeah, in football. You know, St. Francis just 2 days ago announced they're going to Division III. They were in the first four last week. They were in the NCAA tournament. St. Francis of Pennsylvania, little school. I have no idea what their enrollment is, but they basically said we can't compete financially where it's going. We're dropping not to Division II. We're going to Division III. So you can get in on that. I'm not really interested in having the Let's Drop football conversation today because I think it's moot because it's not going to happen. The answer is, how do you maximize football and continue to grow basketball? To me, that's the conversation. 505-246-0610. Jerry Palm will be with us coming up at 8:30 this morning. He of CBS Sports. Looking forward to getting into it with him. His thought on the coaching change here, if he's got any thoughts on candidates. And we'll get back into the Sweet 16. And his team plays today, too, tomorrow, Purdue. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Track staff, Scott Stigler has been doing the research this morning. Delaware, I asked the question, what flagship universities don't play football? I think they all do. He said Delaware, and he's right, is moving to FBS. They're joining Conference USA. The only states without an FBS team are North Dakota, South Dakota, Rhode Island, Vermont, and New Hampshire. Vermont is the only one that doesn't have a team that in FCS. They play club football. So only one state, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever, but only one state doesn't have their flagship university playing Division I FBS or FCS football. For whatever that means to you, 505-246-0610. Travis, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Travis.
Good morning, fellas.
Good morning.
Look, I just got to tell you, I think you guys do such a great job in these moments of transition. Whether it's the Danny Gonzalez interview or the interview that you guys did yesterday with Coach Pitino. I think the way that you handled, particularly yesterday, honoring the past, but also looking towards the future with having Kurt Roth on yesterday was really, really impressive. And so you guys always do a great job of, I think, allowing these coaches to come on and express the sentiments that they have about this community and this fan base, and maybe also share some of what drew them away from this program. And I think it's just really, really well done.
Thank you.
The other thing I'll say is I don't know that we've ever seen a Richard Pitino that has been more vulnerable than he was yesterday.
100%, and certainly not publicly. I think Richard opened up and showed a side and let you in a little bit. I'd never heard him say some of the things that he said, and the one that just resonates with me, and I remember writing it down at the moment, where he says, I wouldn't say I was broken, but I was certainly down when I got here. And he talked about how he felt he let his family down, and how, what's the word he used? I don't know if he said, put himself back together, whatever, but certainly over the last 4 years, this community helped build him back up.
Yeah, and you can tell that was a real sentiment, because he's like, hey, listen, Jeff, I don't want to cry.
Yeah.
But it brings tears to my eyes when I think about it. And that's real. That is really genuine emotion. And, I certainly empathize where Lobo fan is right now, but that guy has always been honest with us. We've certainly had coaches in the past who've come in and said, there's no place like New Mexico. I have no desire to leave. I'm going to stay here forever. Maybe not in those terms, but, expressing those kinds of sentiments. And I think leading fans astray, he's always been really honest with us. And so I really appreciate what he has done. Certainly a lot of Lobo fans, I think, like you said, 99% of the fan engagement online has been really positive about, what the effect of Pitino's leadership on this program and this community has been. But we really overlook the effect that we have on that coaching staff and on that team. So hats off to him, and I certainly wish him the best of luck. And I'm just so glad that he gave us hope again. He gave us hope again that this team could win at a high level. And a couple more things. Look, really impressed with we've seen coaching searches happening all across the country in college basketball, big-time college basketball programs, that Xavier program, that Nova program, tons of leaks, tons of rumors. You know what? Hats off to the athletic director, Lovo, and Fernando Lovo and his team. This thing has been airtight, no leaks. There are a lot of names that Jeff Grammer published, I think 10 names. Jack Pitino's on that list. Put me down for Jack Pitino. But there have been no leaks. This guy is running such a good ship, And so really looking forward to who he's ultimately going to bring to this program. I don't know if it's possible to bring like a Borrego, but also keep the assistant coach, Chu, that everyone's been talking about.
I think he's
that's probably not possible.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
But I love what, I love that there's, this is such a tight ship, and I think it really has fostered a lot of stability and faith in this program.
Right
and on the final thing, listen, Rudy and Jeffrey have been talking for years and years and years about investment in this program, and how if we didn't invest in this program at the right time and in the right amounts, we would be left behind. And that's the situation that we are facing. We have been facing it. Listen, that's not a light at the end of the tunnel. That is a train coming our way. And the only way that you stop digging is by dropping the shovel. So, listen, JJ said it before. The fans can only give so much, and I think, JJ, you're right. That's a really great point. But to the extent that we can, we need to drop the shovel and stop it and start investing in these programs.
Thanks, Travis.
Have a good day, guys.
All right. That's a lot there. Boy, there was a lot. First of all, thanks for the kind words. Secondly, Isaac Chu, the whole staff is going with Richard Pitino. And if Isaac gets the head coaching job, obviously he'll stay here. But the lead assistant and Tarvish Felton and Aaron Katsuma and Dave Pilipovich, Jeff Grammer reported in this paper this morning, they're all going. Hey, Peyton's gone, video person, they're all going to Cincinnati. Jerry Palm at 8:30 on the opening drive on 90. Jerry Palm from CBS Sports at 8:30 on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight, from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone.
Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. Your brackets become active again. I'm going to guess your bracket's not that busted because of the 8, 1, and 2 seeds, 7 of them are still alive. So probably most of your Final Four is still alive. So you got something to look at tonight. BYU, Alabama, Maryland, Florida, Arizona, Duke, and Arkansas and Texas. That's what you get tonight. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. You're locked in to 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, we thank you for spending some time with us today, as you do, hopefully, on a regular basis. Obviously, a lot of talk about Lobo basketball, Lobo sports, and what's going on and where we are. JJ, if people, and I don't want to keep pushing this, we don't do this a lot for stuff that we've done. Everything we do, or most of the stuff we do, is archived, and you can listen to it wherever you get podcasts, or certainly on our website, sportsanimalabq.com. You click on the opening drive, but it's wherever it is. The conversation with Richard Pitino yesterday is getting a lot of response, and I just, it's nothing we did. It was Richard was really, really good and candid and open, and I think emotional, and I think he opened himself up a little bit to the fan, and I think it was genuine. I don't think it was any sort of an act. It was it's not you, it's me kind of a breakup. I'm not leaving because of anything that was here. It's just opportunity. I think, like I said, 98% of the fan base, I think it gets it. I don't think Richard ever told you a lie. I never heard Richard once say, we're going to be here forever. I don't think anybody ever thought you would. If when he got here 4 years ago, when he walked in coming off of that it was the COVID year, right? Paul Weir's team won 6 games. They were on the road in Texas and Utah, and it was just horrible, right? But if I had told you, hey, so he's going to be here 4 years, Richard Pitino is, and you're going to win a conference championship, tournament championship, cut down nets, go to the NCAA tournament. You're going to win a regular season championship, cut down nets, and win a game in the tournament. Do you think Lobo fan at that point would have said, hell yes, we're in, we get 4 years, and we'll be in a good place?
I think it would have been 50-50. Because there's just some, I think it's just the college mindset of fans of, if you're here and successful, why are you not here for 25 years? Why are you not doing something to where you're going to put your name on that court or name a building after you? Like, there's that mindset of a lot of people when it comes to college athletics.
Yeah. It's so insanely rare. There's not a lot of Mark Few's anymore, right? Mike Krzyzewski did it, and he built Duke up to the highest level, so he stayed. Jim Boeheim had Syracuse at the highest level, so he stayed. Well, if you're going to stay in Syracuse, New York, for crying out loud, but he was paid at the top of the market, right? Mark Few's pretty handsomely compensated. I don't know what his. I could find it. It's pretty rare. You saw it done in your conference at San Diego State with Steve Fisher, right? But he went up there and resurrected his career, got his name on the court, as you say. It's Steve Fisher Court, and created something pretty special there. I don't know. I think the majority of Lobo fan would have said, yeah, I'll take that. Where the program was when he took it over. You're going to give me 4 years. We're going to be competitive. The pit's going to be full again. We're going to go to 2 NCAA tournaments and cut down 2 nets. And then he's going to leave for $4+ million a year. Yeah, I'm going to guess if you go back to 2021 when this thing went down, I'm going to guess most Lobo fan would have said, yeah, I'm in. Now, in real time, it hurts. You're going to be okay. I really, like if you tell me you're going to hire James Borrego or Isaac Chu or Alan Huss or Cody Toppert or Tom Crean or, one of these guys on this list, you're all going to have an argument that we're not going to know the answer to for a number of years. Is it better or is it not better? Might you take a step back with a brand new roster next year? You might, or you might not. But I think you're in a position with this program, and I think Fernando's got the resources and Kurt has the resources that they're going to be competitive.
I do agree with that. And again, with the changes in college athletics, when it comes to coaching, you still need a very good coach. But I think it does open the door to more possibilities. Why the list is very dynamic of names that are being thrown out there. It's not just lifelong college coaches. You can think about maybe some of the NBA guys, because the basketball X and O stuff translates, and now that it's more of a professional model, like that's stuff you're used to, man. You're in it, your roster's turning over. Now it's maybe not even to this extent in professional sports, but you understand you're dealing with players with expectations because of money. That's what you now have at the collegiate level. And the recruiting has changed where you don't have to grind as much. Like, you don't just have to be at every AAU tournament across the summer, this or that, to have a good program. And I think that's why you're seeing more and more guys with that professional background interested in getting a collegiate job.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like Bill Belichick. Mike says Lobo fans are maxed out, Jeff Alou. The folks I talk to are singing a very different tune than Travis. They're scraping by to give $50 a month to the Lobo Club. They don't have any more to chip in so a coach or a player can make $2 million a year. I'm certain there are some who are there. Yeah. Yeah, and you're asking for more, and I understand that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm certain that there are some who are maxed out. And there are some who aren't and say, you know what, I'm going to do what I can to make it better. Yep, look, because it's going to go hand in hand with this one. I'll read you this one from Lobo Hobo. NIL is ruining college, and it better stop. I was talking to some Lobo fans, Jeff, and they were crying, we need $2 million to keep Shane Donovan or Donovan Dent. Wah. This is as much as guys make at the end of the first round and twice what the NBA second-rounders make for 82-plus games per season. Lobo Hobo, with all due respect, it is not going to stop. I'm not certain. I don't think it should stop. I have no problem with the players getting compensated. Do I think it's gotten crazy? Yeah, a little bit. When you got guys in college, to his point, when they're making more than the pros. I mean, it's what the market's dictating and it's what the rules allow, correct?
That is correct.
It's not going to stop, Lobo Hobo, and I've said this many times, and I'll tell you this again. I will never tell you how to be a fan. But this has evolved to a point where either you need to accept it or college athletics isn't for you anymore. It's just, this isn't going away. This isn't changing. It isn't stopping it. It isn't. So now, might it get regulated at some point? Yeah, it might. It might. Tella says, what a gut punch, Jeff. I feel especially sorry for the seasoned fans. The folks that have been here since Ellenberger. In 48 hours, they went from 20 minutes to the Sweet 16 to a complete rebuild. And some of them might not have another 10 to 15 years for Louisville basketball to get there again. It's not easy to get there. You're making $4 million and your Bruins aren't there. I'm talking about me. Neither is the old man. And a week ago, the talking heads were screaming at me that Rick Pitino was the best thing since John Wooden. Yeah, it's not easy to get there. It's not easy to become Gonzaga. It's not easy to get to the Sweet 16. No, it's damn hard. And everybody's throwing money and resources and smart people at it. Everybody's got a good coach and recruiting coordinators and good players and a bunch of money. Yeah, it's hard. Sports, man. That's what you tell me all the time. It's sports. Kurt Roth is the new Rudy B. Jeff, when something Lobo Athletics popped, the media used to always put a mic in face of Rudolph. Now Kurt Roth has become the face of the program. Not Stokes, not Lobo, not anyone else actually on the payroll. Yeah, that's probably right. Kurt Roth is the most important guy. I don't know. Who's more important, Fernando Lobo or Kurt Roth right now?
Kurt Roth.
I mean, I'm not arguing with you. Fernando's tasked now with
he's the athletic director. The University of Mexico has a lot of stuff to deal with, but when it comes to being able to hire a guy you want, hire a guy that you like, what the question is going to be, all right, what's my resources when it comes to NIL?
What's my NIL? Yeah. Yep. All right, keep them coming at 505-246-0610. We'll talk with Jerry Palm coming up at 8:30 this morning. Unless the university and state find a way to increase the total budget for athletic department, UNM basketball will continue being a feeder program to the power conferences with the best players. Look, man, there's only so much you can do. You know, and again, JG, remember when this all started? This was my biggest fear, right? You're going to just become the minor league. You're going to be your players are going to be good, and they're going to steal them. And I'm not a genius on saying that. I mean, I'm not alone. Yeah, and you're dealing with it. San Diego State's dealing with it.
And then you just got to go try and see if you have enough money to entice the smaller schools and use best players to
or guys who weren't playing at the power level that are pretty good that come here like when Elijah Brown came here, right? Or, I mean, you got transfers that have come. You know, where did Jalen House come from? Didn't he come from Arizona State?
Yeah.
Just saying. Alfred and noodles need not apply, says the text line. Okay. Hey, John Thomas Jewelers is headed to Antwerp. They are my jeweler. They will be yours once you step into their property. I promise. Well, I don't want to promise, but I'm pretty damn sure of it. They are the coolest jeweler in America. That's voted by a national magazine. Stop by and see why. They're on the third floor of the Lewis University building, right across from the Coronado Mall. Why are they going to Antwerp? Well, Antwerp is the diamond capital of the world. John's going over there to hand-select breathtaking diamonds for you. And for a limited time, when you pre-order your Antwerp diamonds starting at just $3,000, John Thomas Jewelers will give you a free engagement or anniversary upgrade ring. So Antwerp's where 80% of the world's loose diamonds flow through, right? It's just that they source them there. That means you get unmatched quality and value. Take advantage of John's 35 years of diamond experience. Let them handpick a bigger, brighter, more beautiful diamond than anything you can find here in New Mexico. These are beautiful. There's no mass production. There's no middleman. It's just your perfect diamond at an incredible price. So get in on this. Pre-order your diamond by April 11th. Go in and talk to them. They'll walk you through the whole process. They'll find you that 1 in a million diamond. Stop by John Thomas Jewelers. Their third floor showroom on Louisiana. 2440 Louisiana Northeast. It's Suite 310. Third floor, Lewis University building on Louisiana. south of Menaul, directly across from the Coronado Mall. It's John Thomas Jewelers, where Albuquerque gets engaged.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable.
Looking forward to talking with Jerry Palm coming up at 8:30, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. You guys are in a lot. I appreciate all of the correspondence and the contribution over the last couple of always. I think I appreciate it always. And I know you do too, JJ. But the last 2 days, we filled up pages on the text line, and the emails have been great. The calls have been great. Like, really appreciate, for the most part, well thought out stuff. And I'm trying to get as much in as we can. Steve from Michigan. Jeff, heard you say something about time zones. The time change goes down like Michigan between India and Illinois, so Ohio's in the Eastern time zone. This one says, good morning. The next coach of the Lobos needs to be Toppert. You need someone with Albuquerque ties. You need someone young. You need someone that has NBA ties. You need someone smart. Does Toppert want to be back in Albuquerque? I don't know, but this is where you start. You and I haven't really discussed the conversation on Cody Toppert. A guy from Albuquerque Academy, guy who played at Cornell. His brother played here. His dad, I think both of his parents played here. Guy who has been on the bench in college basketball. He was an assistant coach at Memphis. He played for the Thunderbirds. Presently, he's been an assistant at LSU. He was the head coach of the Phoenix Suns G League team. He's been assistant coach of the Phoenix Suns. He's been the head coach of the Northern Arizona Stars, their G League team. Rio Grande Vipers, an assistant. So he's got NBA in college. He's got Albuquerque. He's smart, Ivy League guy. I don't know. I mean, what does he do for you?
I like it. Like, there's not a name that's really been floated out there that you've discussed that we kind of went back and forth with Kurt Roth on that. I'm just like, no, not at all. You can't do that. I think there's a polarizing one in Steve Alford, and where there are a good amount of Lobo fans that are like, all right, yeah, let's bring him back. Let's run it back. And then I'm also on the other side, too, of like, well, what else is out there?
Yeah, no, I'm listening.
Like, okay. Like, y'all have that comfort blanket, but yeah, maybe you can unwrap something new.
Yeah, no, look, I'm listening to a lot of different things. I know Cody a little. I wouldn't say well, but I do believe there's some interest. I don't know if they've reached out to him. I got to believe that his agent has reached out to UNM. But yeah, that's a guy that I would go, huh? Let me take a look. He's currently the head coach of the Capital City Go-Go. That's a G League team. So he's a head coach. I mean, I don't know, man. A guy that's a G League, that's a pro head coach who's been in the NBA. That obviously there's a lot there. I mean, James Borrego too. Would it bother you at all, or bother's probably not the word. Concern might be a better word. But would it concern you on a James Borrego just because he doesn't have college coaching experience?
No.
I agree with you.
Because the game has changed so much.
I totally agree with you. Yep.
Like, it's basketball. It's schemes. It's putting talent in the best position ever. And also, you still have to grind. Yes, the recruiting trip, you're still doing it. You're still going places. But it's not to the same level where you're like, man, I got to make sure I'm on these, two top 100 kids 24/7, this or that. It's kind of like, all right, you want X amount of money. This is the way I have the offer, yes or no? And that's not good enough for you. All right.
Well, and you surround yourself with people who have been in it, right? So you get a recruiting coordinator, somebody, and I'm sure, gosh, you've been in the game. You get somebody like Isaac Chu was so invaluable to what Richard Pitino's success was here.
The head coaches are not doing the heavy lifting.
That's right, on the recruiting. Yeah. And then you've got Kurt on the business side. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like James Borrego, to me, if you hit a James Borrego or a Cody Toppert, like, that's a home run to me. That's a home run hire. Guys who've been coaching the NBA that are from here, that get it, that want to be here. Again, we had this conversation yesterday. Everybody,
I think anyone who takes a job wants to be here, but it doesn't mean that they're signing up to be here for 20 years.
Please understand that. Yes. Please understand that. Yes. Every time we go through any coaching hire, we hear about, well, somebody's got to understand what they're getting into. Look, man, Jason Eck the first night he spent in Albuquerque was the night he got hired, right? Or the night that he did the press conference. Now, he hadn't lost a game yet. He hadn't won a game yet. But the head football coach at UNM seems to be embracing this place, and people seem to think it was a really good hire. We'll see, right? Richard had never been to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I don't think Steve Alford had ever been to Albuquerque, New Mexico, maybe a night or two, right? Never, no significant time. So does it help? I don't know. Maybe. But is it requisite? It can't be. It can be part of the equation, but it cannot be requisite.
Because it comes out, it doesn't matter if you're from here, you're not from here. It's about, can you win? Because even if you're from here, you can't win, well, you're not going to be here long.
Yeah. All right, Jerry Palm's next. He's been at CBS for a while. he likes it there. He's from there. He's from Indiana. His team's playing in the his alma mater's playing in the Sweet 16. Purdue. We'll talk with Jerry Palm from CBS Sports about coaching moves and, of course, the Sweet 16 at the NCAA tournament. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView.
Northwest Indiana, which is Central Time. So
Yeah, I've been there. There's a nice brewery there. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. All right, get us out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and give us a different perspective. Richard Pitino to Xavier obviously has been encompassing of the news here. Just your perspective. It probably need a little bit of a different one than inside this bubble.
Yeah, it's too bad for New Mexico because, of course, he was doing a great job there. But you guys have a pretty good idea what it's like. You're in a conference that is not one of the majors in basketball, and when the majors come calling, it's hard to turn that down. So, Rich Pitino, I think the interesting thing, he's coaching against his dad twice a year. But as you know, for New Mexico, starting over again, which that's kind of the life of a team that's not in the major conferences. As soon as you get good, people start coming after your coach.
Yeah.
And Rich held him off for a while, but eventually found a job that he likes, and it's hard to blame him for going to a place where he might have a better chance to win big.
Yeah, well, and probably make north of $4 million. There was a package on the table here, a little about somewhere we're hearing about $2.2 million. So you can't argue the money. And he made it clear to us a number of times, and to me certainly, that he was unhappy with what the Mountain West is going to look like. It talked about that, and not having to share revenue with football, which is becoming a bigger story that's getting louder and louder, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's Xavier doesn't even play football.
Right.
as is true for many of the schools in that league. UConn, the notable exception, but it's Xavier. Like a lot of the Big East schools, basketball schools primarily, and that's true even of UConn. So it's and he's going to be backed more toward the east, which is probably geographically friendly to him as well.
No, he said that. He was with us yesterday.
Cincinnati's a great basketball town. Cincinnati, Dayton, not too far up the road, Xavier, all good basketball programs. So it's a good place to be.
Yeah, he talked about that with us yesterday, and being closer. His parents are getting older, and he kept saying back east. I'm like, Eastern time zone, and that is the Midwest. But all right, we'll give you that.
It is.
We'll give you that. There's been a lot of names kicked around, and there's some NBA names. James Borrego, the former coach of the Charlotte Hornets, who's from Albuquerque. Cody Toppert, who's head coach of the G League right now. And then names like Tom Crean, Steve Alford, Rodney Terry, JJ, help me out. What else am I missing? There's a bunch of names. Have you heard anything for this job?
No, I haven't really heard much of anything other than the new configuration of the Mountain West is something of a drawback to potential coaches.
Yeah. He's Jerry Palm from CBS Sports with us on the Sports Animal.
Well, Jerry, the coaching stuff, and we've seen it already this tournament. Will Wade taking a job, his team's playing a game. Kevin Willard, the Nova stuff. Do you think that factors into how Maryland and Florida plays out?
Could be, yeah. I mean, all of these things are connected. Every opening, it seems like it's connected to the previous one. Coaches often get hired from one school to another, creating another opening, and there's definitely an effect of those jobs sticking together in a way. So the chain effect is definitely a thing.
Kevin Willard, pretty mum. It sounds like he's going to Villanova, doesn't it?
Well, it sounds like he's going somewhere. He certainly seems disenchanted at Maryland, and it's unhappy with the way they, I guess, fund basketball. So, that's another guy who would be going to a school that, they play football, but it's not, major conference football. Yeah. It's 1AA football. So, anyways, I guess that's probably going to happen. Yes.
All right, let's hoop. A lot of chalk. You got a 10 seed. Your Cinderella's out of the SEC, right? I got a Cinderella team that's...
No, there aren't. I'm sorry. There's no Cinderellas. And that 10 seed is better than a 10 seed because that team got Boogie Flan back right before the tournament.
And beat St. John's. The one you almost had, you had a buzzer beater, which I'll contend he walked. I don't know how you feel. Colorado State got beat on that.
You know what's funny about that is I look at it and I think, and I used to ref, and I'm looking at it and I think, well, that's definitely a walk. And then Gene Steratore comes on and gets into the technical details of it and says it's not a walk because he didn't have full control of the ball while he was taking that first step. And so you don't start counting steps until after that. That was his defense.
I still think he walked. Anyway, we got a lot of chalk. There's a real chance we get all the ones. Who's most vulnerable? And maybe you'll say it's Purdue beating Houston, so Houston's the most vulnerable.
No, gosh, I would like to be able to say that, but I can't. Houston's very good, one of the best defensive teams, a very good offensive team. They've got like three guys that shoot 40% from three. Purdue's really going to have their hands full. They're going to have to play, maximum level for them if they're going to beat Houston, or Houston has a bad night, one or the other. I think that the most vulnerable is probably Auburn because I don't think they've been, they kind of ended the season on a bit of a low. I don't think they've been overly sharp in the tournament. Plus, you're getting a Michigan team that's got, matchup issues, with now, Auburn, I think has got the better backcourt, but, the 2 7-footers that Michigan runs out there are a matchup problem for everybody. And if you get by them, you got Michigan State and Tom Izzo. So I think Auburn has got the toughest road through of the 1 seeds, although I don't really think it's easy necessarily for any of them.
Jerry, it's interesting looking at the 2 6 seeds that are playing, BYU and Alabama, and 175.5 over in that one is going to be all offense. And, the Ole Miss Ole Miss Michigan State matchup. What do you make of the runs just from BYU and Ole Miss?
Yeah, I mean, BYU's run started actually when I saw them play, or right after I saw them play in Cincinnati, where they looked terrible, and especially the second half of a loss to the Bearcats, and they've lost once since, and it was in the conference tournament.
They got blued out.
Yeah, I mean, they have been on a serious heater. And that game, like, if you like scoring, that's your game. Because, 175, I'm thinking over. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those teams hit 100. They like to go up and down the floor. They like to get shots up quickly. They're not out there messing around. They are out there to score points and hopefully outscore their defenses. So, that should be a fun game to watch. Ole Miss, I saw them in Milwaukee. They played great out there, and especially in that second game against Iowa State. I mean, they just went after them. They were more athletic. They were in their face on the defensive side of the ball, and they shot really well. So Iowa State just got blitzed right from the beginning. That Ole Miss is capable of advancing, but they don't play like that all the time because, I mean, that's why they're a 6 seed. So it's we'll see what they do, but they played at a pretty high level against Iowa State.
Talk a little bit about what Cal's done at Arkansas. I think I don't know if he got run out of Kentucky, but I kind of feel like he got run out of Kentucky. I mean, it was
sounds like it, really.
Yeah, I mean, it was very uncomfortable. And then watching the run he's made and gone down there and as a 10 seed, and you're right, they had some injury problems. You get Boogie Flynn back. They've been nothing short of impressive to me in this tournament.
Yeah, no, they've been great. Certainly, equipped to give Texas Tech trouble. It's that should be a really interesting game, I think. Arkansas, Cal, look, first of all, he can attract players because of who he is and what he's done. A successful coach, so you've got a chance to win. Arkansas's got money to invest in, players and facilities and whatever. So it's really kind of a sleeping giant of a program that hasn't really been relevant in basketball since Nolan Richardson was the coach. So, that's a program I think that can do something. And now that Cal is there, he's not going to be there forever. He's an old guy. He's not going to coach there for 10 years probably, but he can certainly get the thing launched. And then, retire whenever he feels like retiring and leave the program in some really good shape.
Would Must get him to the Elite Eight, right? Eric Musselman got him to the Elite once, then he parlayed it to the SC job. Isn't that right? They had one. Eric Musselman had one run with him, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. He's a good coach too. And now he's at USC, as their first year in the Big Ten and a bit of a learning experience at USC. And it'll be interesting to see what he does there because I think he's a good coach, but I'm not sure that program cares enough about basketball to really be successful.
I think that's why Andy Enfield left and went to SMU where there's a bunch of money.
It is.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, Jerry, one of the biggest threads, Duke 9.5-point favorites over Arizona. You talk about a team that's just been on a roll all season long. The Blue Devils, what do you make of just them, the way they're playing, and can Arizona push them at all?
Well, they can, but they're going to have to play. It's like none of these games are definite wins for anybody, and we're in the Sweet 16. You're playing a very accomplished opponent that knows how to win. So, Duke is going to have to play well, but Duke playing well is really hard to beat. So, Arizona's defense is going to have to step up. They're going to have to not give Duke second chance opportunities. They're going to have to shoot well. I think Caleb Love has to have a big game like he did when he was playing for North Carolina and beat Duke, and ended Mike Krzyzewski's career. But it's going to have to be, a really good performance from Arizona if they're going to challenge Duke and maybe win this game.
All right, read him every day over on CBS Sports. Follow him on the socials. It's at JP Palm CBS. Where are you going to be next week? Any idea?
I'll be in San Antonio next week.
All right. Well, then we will touch base with you from San Antonio next Thursday. Enjoy the hoops. Safe travels. Always appreciate the time, Jerry.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Be well. He is Jerry Palm from CBS Sports. A lot less. Once the brackets come out, a lot less. Oh, Jerry Palm's all over our TV now. Right now, he doesn't have to comb his hair, put on a suit.
Just chill.
He just wears those New Mexico Bowl quarter zips that he gets every year, and for coming on our show. So, Who's watching your home when you're not there? Make sure it's the good guys and not the bad guys. International Protective Service protects my home, hundreds of other homes, thousands of homes and businesses all around Albuquerque and Santa Fe. They keep the bad guys away. I know you've seen their vehicles and their officers around town. If you've gone into a store, you've seen them because property crime is real. In your neighborhood, they're there as well. It's affordable private security because property crime's on the rise and officer shortage continues to be an issue. They'll install alarms for you, camera systems. They got a state-of-the-art facility monitoring those cameras 24/7, raising the level of security around your home and business. They'll provide standing guards if you need eyes on your property around the clock. Don't wait to be a victim. It's then too late. Be proactive on this one. Call IPS, protect what's important. Protect what you've worked so hard to build. The number is 505-897-2420, 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. IPS is passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For your surprisingly great rates, Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Robert, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Robert.
Hey, hello. Yeah, I just wanted to give you my thoughts on Alford. I know a lot of people don't like him. He kind of left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths in the manner in which he left. However, if you look at the statistics, Alford, you cannot argue that he's the best coach we've ever had here at New Mexico. I'm looking at some of his accomplishments here on the internet. He won 3 Mountain West Coach of the Year honors. He 4 Mountain West regular season titles, 6 straight postseason tournament appearances, 30 games, which we won, 26-27 this year. He won 30 games back in 2009, 2010. The accomplishments just go on and on. If you compare that to Pitino, his 8 years at Minnesota, he didn't really, I can see why they wanted to get rid of him. He had overall in the Big Ten 54 and 96. Those were conference games. He less than 50%.
Yep.
And the overall record 141 and 123 losses. So he in only 2 appearances. So if you compare the numbers, I would venture to say that Alford is the better coach. And again, I would like to see him back here again. Anyway, those are my thoughts.
Thanks,
Have a
Robert.
great day.
Appreciate it. Look, there's a swell for Steve. Now there's a buyout that's somewhere between $1.5 million and $2 million. I don't know that Fernando's got an appetite to go back to the future. I don't know that he doesn't either, JJ. I don't know. From what I understand as of yesterday, nobody's reached out to Steve. Now Steve's under contract, right? So you'd have to go to their athletic director and get permission. I have a buddy who's a fan at Nevada Reno, and he's like, "Please take him." That is of all of it, that is the most polarizing subject, period. Don't you think, around this whole coaching situation?
Absolutely.
It's not, whether Richard should have gone or did Richard do it. No. The biggest polarizing conversation is yay or nay on another run at Alford. And, I've been getting texts this morning. I've been texting Steve. Steve says he hasn't gotten contacted yet. Well, Steve wants to come back. Look, I do know Steve enjoyed his time here. Now, can you go back to the future and recalibrate? Different administration. But there's people like Robert, flat out, they're convinced that's the way to go. It's the opening drive. I want to get into. I got tons of correspondence from you, and Bobby Hurley coming off the rails again, coming off the court. A little bit of an apology. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
I said Bobby Hurley, and I meant Dan Hurley, the coach at UConn. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Bobby Mullen is the sports information director at UConn, and we'll get into this. You got a ton of emails and texts from you, 505-246-0610. JJ, how tough of a job would it be to be the sports information director for men's basketball at UConn with Bobby Hurley with Danny Hurley as the head coach?
You got to have the right mentality. You cannot act the way that he acted. No, I'm not talking about the coach. I'm talking about the SID.
Yeah, well, the coach too. So after UConn lost, and look, the last time UConn had lost before last weekend in the NCAA tournament, Chris Jans and New Mexico State beat them 3 years ago. Since then, they went on a run and won 2 national championships, and they got knocked out of the NCAA tournament the other day. 77-75, a tough game to top-seeded Florida. And they get knocked out. So walking off the floor, and it's clear as day, Hurley, who goes off on the officials, and look, Danny Hurley's a great coach. Like, we're not arguing that. He told a referee earlier this year, I'm the best coach in the bleeping game, right? He told him that. But he was walking off the floor, and Baylor was coming on, and he told the Baylor players, I hope they don't bleep you like they bleeped us. He was talking about the officials. Go Baylor. I hope they don't bleep you like they bleeped us, and, whatever. So there was a reporter from the Queen City News, a guy named Joey Ellis, who had cell phone video of that. And the sports information director for UConn, Bobby Mullen, it's so cute in this story. It says, asked Ellis to remove the video. Asked him. He told him, if you don't take that down, I'm going to bleeping ruin you. Isn't that what he told him?
Something along those lines.
I'm going to ruin you, said the sports information. That'd be Frank Mercogliano coming up to you and saying, hey, if you run that, I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to destroy you. You're never going to work again in this town. Right? I mean, that's essentially what that is. Well, the guy went for it. Everybody's apologized. I'm sorry. Bobby regrets. I regret. Okay. So Dan Hurley yesterday kind of apologized. Quote, those are 3 great officials on, and listen to the kind of apologize. Quote, those are 3 great officials on that game. So although I said something in the heat of the moment, in an area of the arena that in pretty much every game I've ever coached in college has been media free, past the tunnel, by the locker rooms, in the hallway where the coaches go, that's for combatants. That's for the competitors. That's not for camera phones. Just relative for that. Those were great refs, and Florida earned it. If I don't go off the rails at the end there, after that 3-year run ended in excruciating fashion, if I don't have that emotional outburst there, probably all people are talking about is the run we've had, the amazing players, end quote. Is that an apology?
I don't think he has to apologize, man. Just own it. Like you said.
What did you say?
Something. I was mad at the officials in the heat of the moment. Said something, came out of my mouth, and we move on.
So if I'd have said it and the cameras didn't catch it, it'd have been fine. It's basically what I heard there. Because normally, what the hell are reporters doing there?
It wasn't even that far back in the tunnel.
No, dude, it was just through the
NCAA
drapes,
tournament,
man.
yeah.
It was just off the court. But, normally there's no cameras in there, and so I can say whatever the hell I want there and be as big of an a-hole as I want there because nobody's going to hear it.
Yeah. People say things after games in the heat of the moment. I'm not going to crucify someone for that.
All right, but then why make it like a veiled apology? Like it's an
probably
apology
got some
with
heat from
everybody. From
everyone. And
probably
like,
from his
gotta
administration.
Let's just do it and move on.
Yeah, he was talking about his sports information guy, that guy Bobby Mullen. Quote, Bobby regrets just like I regret the moments I've had. Obviously, it's all my fault that Bobby got pulled into it. I set the whole thing in motion, and I feel horrible. Obviously, he could have handled dealing with the media person with the phone that took the video differently, but he could have obviously let it go. He should have been better trained for a situation like this. We've been in them all year. Bobby's a soldier. We all fight like that for each other in our program, and sometimes we go a little too far, but Bobby's a great guy. I'm with you, man. I don't want to hear apologies that aren't apologies. Either own it or apologize. Well, pick a lane. You don't get to line your hood ornament up with the freaking lane line and go right down the middle. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm sorry that I got caught. And that's 100%. I'm sorry that you heard it. I'm not sorry I said it. I'm not sorry I did it. I'm not sorry he did. I'm sorry you know about it. And that's kind of, it's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day about, but I was on the golf course, one of my buddies, and felt the same way I did about Bobby Hurley. Like, I used to really like him. I like, wow, he's a no BS guy, and he coaches his ass off, and he's really good. No, maybe he's just an a-hole.
Yep.
And does coaching success, does professional success override being an a-hole, if in fact you think he is?
No, nothing overrides it, but this one, own your words, man.
That's all.
Someone that it's multiple times all throughout the season, your attitude, the way that you treat referees, the way that you act, don't apologize for it. If that's who you are, that's who you are, but you got to understand that people want to call you out for it.
Yeah. The text line says, Dan Hurley, not Bobby. No, I know. And I made that mistake, and I apologize. That was on me. All right, let's hit some of what you guys have to say. 505-246-0610. That's the text line. That's the phone line. Emails have been coming in this morning. Jeff@sportsanimalabq.com. Larry says a key factor in UNM being competitive in athletics is more financial support. To expect them to compete for championships when funded at or near the bottom of the league is insanity. Yep, we've been there a million times. Yes. Good Thursday morning, fellas. I'm only going to say thanks so much for one hell of a basketball run, UNM Lobos. Nothing but respect for Coach Pitino. Godspeed, Coach, and thanks for all you did in being the best you were able to accomplish while here in Albuquerque. Okay. This one. Unless the university and state find a way to increase the total budget for athletic department, UNM basketball will continue to be a feeder program to the power. Look, can we...
Dude, have you seen the transfer portal?
Yeah. Are there 2,000 players in there already?
What's not a feeder program?
From every program in America. Guys, I don't love it any more than you do. It's just the way college athletics is. And I'm going to say it again, man. If you can't kind of get with it and evolve, then college sports just isn't for you. That's all. I'm not telling you it's right or wrong.
There's nothing that's going to change that.
Yeah. Jeff was 100% right. At least 95% of Lobo fans would have been on board 4 years ago if they knew Pitino was going to do with the program what he did. All right. I think so. This one, Alford and Noodles need not apply. See, I mean, am I telling you we had a call right before the break. The guy just read you all the numbers. Alfred's the best coach that's ever been here. He's the answer. Bring him back. And this one says, just please don't apply. It is the most polarizing, and that's why I don't think Fernando's going to even go down that road. I have no insight on this, okay? No idea. But if you were an AD that had nothing to do with that era, and you're hiring right now, and you get a kind of a feel of how polarizing that is for this fan base, do you want anything to do with that? Or do you want to go do your own thing?
You want to go do your own thing?
I think so, too. Yeah, Look, I hear those of you, and look, from what I understand, and I haven't talked to Steve. I have not. But from what I understand, he'd love to come back here. I do believe he was really happy here. But, man, that's as polarizing as it gets. Good morning. The next coach needs to be Topper. Okay. Tim freaking Miles. What's the love on Tim Miles? Will you help me with that? I've asked you that a number of times. I know I have.
I think people look at him and saw him do a lot with less at San Jose State, be competitive.
He's a good
coach.
He's a good coach.
With resources could be successful.
Okay. He had a good run at Colorado State. Parlayed that into a payday at Nebraska. Did a little TV, and he's at San Jose State now. Okay. This one says, we've already been down the road with the, quote, local guy, end quote, who, quote, wants to be here, end quote, with Danny Gonzalez. No thanks to Borrego. All right. Borrego was a coach in the NBA. In fact, there was a story, and I saw it recently, Chase. I don't even know where I saw it. One of the Charlotte outlets said one of the worst things that the Charlotte Hornets did was fire James Borrego.
Yeah, they've had some questionable decisions as a franchise over the last few years, and this is exactly why, from Fernando Lobo, like, take a step back, because Danny Gonzalez has no bearing on James Borrego or Cody Topper. Isaac Chu has nothing to do with Craig Neal. So.
Was Danny Gonzalez a disaster here, like this guy says? I know he hates Danny.
Wasn't successful, but first season when you're coming in and you're like, yeah, culture, foundation, we're building, go live in Las Vegas.
That's right. Go live in a hotel. I don't think it was a disaster. It was an absolute success. It was not. I know you don't all agree with me. I would not have fired him when they did. I would have given him another year. But I understand those of you who feel no.
He got Bronco Mendenhall the Utah State job.
He sure as hell did.
Thanks to Devin Dampier.
Yeah, he brought in Devin Dampier and Luke Wysong, and hell yes he did. But to say, because Danny Gonzalez and you don't feel that worked, so no to James Borrego, a guy who's coached the NBA, who's highly respected in the NBA, in the basketball world. Now, Mudd asks, what about coach from UC Irvine? He's in the NIT Final Four with great players. And put it on the list. Put it on the list. Gents, the only job worse than being Bobby Hurley's sports information director would be Bobby Knight's modern day SID, is from Steve. Okay. This guy didn't like Bobby Hurley either. Bobby's the head coach at Arizona State. Okay. As well as Danny. Don't like either. All right. 505-246-0610. Keep them coming. Emails, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. When we get back, we get into some other stuff too, man. There's NFL free agency going on. Russ has a gig that we really haven't gotten into, and that happened a couple of days ago. The Dodgers are the biggest World Series favorite since 2002 as we start baseball's opening day today. Opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want.
What's your favorite pitching matchup today? No, that baseball starts today. Tarek Skubal of the Tigers against Blake Snell of the Dodgers. You like that one?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was baseball opening day until this morning.
Did you not? Yeah, it's baseball opening day. It's a big deal. Paul Skeens is going to go for the Pirates today.
What a way to get lost.
Mm-hmm. Chris Sale for the Braves. Michael King for the Padres. I mean, there's some good stuff.
You know me, I'm the dude that's in on everything. But even today, I'm like, I can't be watching basketball all night, man.
Well, I'm in basketball tonight, but I get baseball at 1:00 in the afternoon. It starts. I got TV in my office. I got work to do. I got the ball on. Or it's Thursday. I guess I could watch. I mean, so kind
someone's hitting a golf ball somewhere, right?
I promise you. The TGL championship ended, but then I got the Texas Children's Houston Open I could watch. It's already underway. Andrew Novak's leading the way. I'm going to start up with Nick Nee here pretty soon, too. Hosers used to love Nick Nee. We have Nick on Fridays getting you a golf tip. 505-246-0610. Hello, Hoser.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, Nick Nee.
What's up, man?
That was great. And then the guy that took over him, sounded just like him, too. It was wild.
Well, he's still on. Nick. It was Matt Malloy before, and now it's Nick Nee.
Oh, okay. Matt Malloy is the one. Yeah, and then so Nick. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. No. Good times, fellas. Hey, I appreciate you guys having Patino on yesterday. You know, I was thinking the night before, just in my mind, what does Xavier have that we don't have? And, trying to figure out those intricacies because, like JJ said earlier, yes, there's a lot of fans that are wondering why can't we just keep that coach for the 20 years. And I know
because nobody does really.
Yeah, and I know things are changing, and so I'm coming to that realization. But, when you go back, I think Lobo fan is like with Alford. I think that's why it hurts so much, because we thought, okay, this is the guy that's going to hang around, is going to, keep us competitive and put us in a better position as we grow along. Maybe in a Gonzaga position is what I thought, eventually we'd get to that point. But that didn't happen. And so now we understand that maybe that might never happen, the way things are right now. But I appreciate Richard just explaining the whole things that took into effect. And I thought about his family too. I said, with his older parents getting older and trying to be next, closer. Even though you can, you've got the resources to get there as soon as you can, if something should happen. But it's not the same as being just kind of within the vicinity and being able to get together with family. Sure. So I appreciate all that, and I kind of understand it. And now it's just kind of a wait and see who the new guy is and how this the portal affects everything as far as what the teams are going to look like every year. But yeah, it's just that mindset. I think going back to the 25-year thing, it's just hard for change for some folks that are older, and it's like, man, it's so yeah. So here we are.
Yeah, so here we are. All right, man. Appreciate you. Let me ask you this, JJ, and I guess I'll ask this more for the people who are. And I don't think it's going to be Steve Alford. I mean, when anything shocked me, no. But for those of you who want to go back and do that again, and I get it. So what would you expect? Steve's 60 years old. The game has totally changed, right, with the NIL era and everything else, and he's been very, very vocal about how he feels about it. So what would you expect? What would, like for those of you who said, let's go back and do Alford again and make a run? Best case scenario is what? I mean, you think he's going to be here for 10 years? And look, he's got great hair. He looks good at 60 years old. I'm not telling you he's done. He needs to go away. But do you expect 10 years out of him? Is he going to do this till he's 70?
He's going to be just shoving that wheelchair down the ramp, and he's going to come right on the court.
What would the expectations be? So if Alford's in, I mean, for those of you who want to go that way, I'm just kind of curious, what would you expect? Instant success? Would you say, well, he's not winning it at Nevada, although he did go to the NCAA tournament last year? Because, well, it's not New Mexico and they don't have what we have. I don't know. They got pretty good fan base. They like their hoops. Marty, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Marty.
Hey, guys. I'm one of those fans. I wasn't shocked. I wasn't like, oh my God, we're losing. But I think he was an okay coach. There was times, and you can pull all the calls in the past where I called, and I never was crazy about his utilization of his bench players. I thought maybe it took him a year too long to put Dan out there. I don't know why he didn't play the kid Thomas. He didn't play at all. So I had some questions as a fan, rightfully so, right? And I knew eventually he'd turn it around. I mean, what was it, the fourth season? They finally won the conference outright. I knew eventually that would happen. And that probably would have happened with some other coaches as well. So I think he's an okay coach. I think he's a great recruiter. I'll give him that. X's and O's, I think he's just an average coach. I really do. I'm not gonna say he was this great. I still think Steve Alford's the best coach the Lobos have ever had, probably since Bob Keene. I'm going to say that.
Right.
But here's the deal. I think this is a good opportunity for New Mexico to decide what they want to be. They want to be a stepping stone. This is like a crossroads for them. They want to be a stepping stone, and so be it. That's what we are. Or go back and say, let's use a little bit more resources, bite the bullet in some other things, and maybe come up with a couple more mil a season, and then we're truly a basketball school, right?
And do what? So what does that mean?
You can't have it both ways. So you can't call yourself a basketball school and just be a stepping stone. That's how I see it.
So what would that mean? So come up with a couple. How are you not being quote, a stepping stone? I'm not sure I understand that.
Come up with more money, pay the coach,
Well,
keep him a little longer. A couple million, is that going to bankrupt the school?
All right,
I
so
don't think
let's say you had $2 more million. Let's play this out. Let's just say, and it sounds like they were going to offer Pitino 2-point-something million. Let's say it was 2.2. So let's just say you had $4 million to offer to Richard Pitino. You think he would have stayed?
Possibly. Money talks, and the you-know-what walks.
Well, but if they're offering him the same, the Big East versus the Mountain West, going back east for this particular coach, and he's been...
I would not be shocked if he never gets out of the middle pack to the Big East.
I would not be shocked. That's absolutely a possibility. That's a whole separate conversation.
Right.
All right. No, I appreciate you,
I would look at it like this. I can build a program if the money's right? If the money's right, I can build a solid foundation. Maybe eventually we get to the new PAC 0, right?
Maybe.
That's a joke. We get to that.
Maybe.
And maybe that's where I want to be. But I just think for us to trying to keep paying a coach it's just going to be the same thing over and over. So I think this is a good opportunity for Lobo to say, what do we want to be? What do we want to be as a school? So
right.
that's just what I pose.
Got it. No, I appreciate you. Thanks.
Yep.
JJ, if they'd have offered him, let's just say $4 million. I don't know where they're getting the $4 million, but okay, let's just say they offered him that. You think he stays, or you think he goes to Xavier, knowing how he felt about what the league's going to look like in 2 years?
I think there's coaches. Dude, if you're giving $4 million, of course they're going to stick around. But
the other school offered him $4 million.
I'm not on board with this. Like, we're just a stepping stone. There's such a small percentage of universities are going to keep a coach and be successful for X amount of years. Like, Sean Miller just won games
at that
Xavier
place.
and left.
At that place, yeah. At that place. No.
Like, you just...
Maryland. Is Maryland a stepping stone?
And
is
Kevin Williams
going to go to
Maryland,
Villanova?
Like, it's the sports business, man. I don't know what you want.
Everyone's a stepping stone. Jeffrey, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Jeffrey.
Hey, good morning, and wanted to thank you and JJ and the station for your coverage of the surrounding the Pitino. Like I said, the interview was great. Appreciate it very much. Many of you or some may know, I've been involved with Lobo Athletics and my family since 1966. We've continuously had season tickets through my grandfather and now me. And I was telling my wife the other day, after this kind of happened, again, and I kind of framed it like my fandom equity has been kind of just worn down a little bit, and I'm just mostly and largely frustrated, not so much with the NIL, because you're not going to put that genie back in the bottle.
Correct.
The system is what it is. When we have conspicuous success, we get cherry picked. I understand all that. But it's largely the relegating of our conference, after next year to almost even a more compromised position. And I think even Palm alluded to the fact that the word on the national street is that's kind of an issue, the Mountain West being compromised. And for me, as a fan who's been going to games since 72, my grandfather since 66, I'm just kind of worn down by, that. It's almost like we have collectively supported Lobo Athletics, at least, many of us, for generations almost. And our conference is being watered down. And that's probably the most frustrating aspect of this whole thing, holistically speaking, for me. But I just wanted to make my position clear. I'd like to see Alford back, unapologetically, warts and all. But
what would you expect then? So what would you expect? What would your expectations be if Alford came back? What would your expectations be if Steve came back? What would you expect, long term, short term?
Well, first of all, I think he still has cachet enough to be able to recruit. I think he's a good coach, and I think he would bring stability to the program pretty instantaneously. His resume speaks for himself. And I just think he would be a good, solid fit for this program if we could forgive the fact that he, in a sense, left. Yeah. And there was that sense of betrayal. Yeah. But, this whole system is built and engenders betrayal for mid-major teams unless you're a blue blood.
You're right.
Because you get good, and the coach is cherry-picked, the players are cherry-picked. So other programs across the nation, unless you're Duke or North Carolina or Arizona, they feel betrayal as well. So
they lose players too, man. They lose players
there's
too.
nothing new here. But for me, if Alford was identified as the coach, I'd renew my tickets instantly. Otherwise, I'm thinking about just not doing it for the first time in 62 years.
He'll be back.
So anyway, thanks, guys.
All right, man. Thanks. All right, keep him coming if you're there. He'll be back. He will. But everybody, Arizona's got guys in the portal, or they will. I mean, didn't you get players from Arizona?
Why can't we be like Oakland? Man?
Where'd Philip Borovicinen come from?
We need to be like Oakland.
Where'd Borovicinen come from?
Greg Campy was hired in 1984, and he's still coaching.
Fair enough. Go find that guy. See if he wants to come here. Keep him coming at 505-246-0610. Hey, BOGO Boneless Thursdays. Huh? Twin Peaks is your spot. Kick off your week with BOGO wings at Twin Peaks. If you buy 6 bone-in wings, you get 6 free on Tuesdays at Twin Peaks. So bring the crew, select your sauce or rub, and catch all the views. Hurry in, though, because it won't last long. At Twin Peaks, one of the things they know best is wings. And so for that limited time, you get that over at Twin Peaks. You can stop by for lunch. They got great lunch specials. They got the Bourbon Fridays, and certainly on Fridays as we go up to Easter for Lent, they've got the fish and chips, and you can do it with the beers or with the sodas and the tea, and you got great lunch specials. Get in there for the Masters. The Masters coming up. First major's on the way. Twin Peaks got TVs everywhere. April 10th through the 13th. Enjoy the Tito's Transfusion Cocktail, $8.50 all day. Catch the Masters at Twin Peaks and get ready for the NBA playoffs and the NCAAs. Twin Peaks is your best place for all things hoops. Head on down to Twin Peaks, catch the NCAA tournament and the NBA playoffs at Twin Peaks while enjoying delicious food, drinks, and views at Twin Peaks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet
season from the Big Ten, ACC, SEC, and Big 12.
Atlanta won the TGL championship, JJ. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck, 505-246-0610. You got a lot to say and enjoying listening to it. Both on the phone lines, the Twitter. It says Pitino is more worried about our current conference and its future. Oh, it's the back part of it. Here, let me read the whole thing. Fellas, the only answer for UNM moving forward is to step up our game in total. Can't control other programs, schools, or conferences. Can only control ourselves. We have to make ourselves more attractive to the bigger conferences, or we'll always be a minor league for them, players and coaches. We have a large enough TV market to be attractive, just not good enough products to sell. It's from Steve. And then he says Pitino was more worried about our current conference and its future. Yeah, no, he made that very clear. The conference was an issue. Ken, thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, guys. I would submit to you that this is definitely a top 5 mid-major basketball program.
Okay.
I like what Pitino was saying about generational fan base. That is so true. You have fans going to the pit that have gone to, Carlisle Gym, Johnson Gym. It's not just the students. It is actually the community that is behind this school. And when you hear, like, the last caller talking about, he just seemed like, Pitino was okay. We could have done better. So if we look at his resume, in my opinion, he is JT Toppin away from going to the Sweet 16. And then John Tonji from Wisconsin. That's how close, in my opinion, we were to go to the Sweet 16. We were 2 players away, which were both committed at one point to the Lobos, to go to the Sweet 16. We were one of the last teams a few years ago to go undefeated, be one of the last remaining teams to be undefeated. We won the conference tournament. We won the conference regular season. What else do Lobo fans want? Yes, I understand we have not had the greatest success in the NCAA tournament. But again, we're 8-9 points away playing Michigan State to go to the Sweet 16. We were up by 10 in the first half. We're not that far off. JT Toppin and John Tonji on that roster.
That would have been something.
It definitely could have happened. We were that close of becoming a good to great team.
Yeah, 3 days before the portal ended, you had them both. 2-3 days before the portal closed, you had both of them on your roster. Yeah,
you had both of them. And so for Lobo fans to call and to complain about Pitino, I'm sorry, Lobo fans, this is about as good as it's going to get. And we are very close to becoming really, really good in terms of NCAA success, and that's kind of what hurts us. But come on, this was wonderful. I thank Pitino. It was a wonderful 4 years. He took us to heights that I don't think anybody really expected, and I sure enjoyed the ride. I can't look back and say, I hated winning that trophy in Vegas. I couldn't stand winning the trophy in the pit with a sold-out pit, raising the trophy for regular season. That was horrible. It could have gotten better. It could have been better. How? How could it have been better? That's as good as it's going to get, and that is really, really good. We're not going to win a national championship. That's probably not in the cards. But if we get to the Sweet 16, that is pretty awesome too. So I think we're one of the best jobs out there as the mid-majors concerned. Are we going to win a national championship, go to the Final Four consistently? No. But this is about as good as it's going to get, and it is good. And I'm really enjoying the ride that Pitino had us on.
Thanks, man.
So that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks. Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Mike.
Oh, great calls. Hey, I'm going to break this down in 2 different ways. I liked Coach Alfred. I thought he did great. I think the biggest complaint is the way he left. We looked like after that tournament, Salt Lake City, we thought we had him signed up for an extension, and then nobody can blame him for leaving. It was just unfortunate. The timing really bit, and I'm sure he feels the same way. And I'm sure I've heard that he would come back, but the problem I have with that is he comes back. We have great years. We build his resume, a more recent resume, with success. He gets another opportunity.
All right, well, let me ask you this. So hang with me on that, because that's an interesting conversation, right? And that kind of goes into what would you expect. So at 60 years old, knowing what he's coming back to, if in fact, let's just say that happened, right? And I don't think it will, but if it does, knowing he's coming back to a place that he was happy, would you expect this to be his last spot, or would you expect him to be looking for another payday at some point?
Well, I mean, he does have a family, and and maybe they're more mature. But I think if the money's right and another big label school comes a calling, he may stick around, kind of like Patino. For some opportunities came last year, and he passed them, and giving him more money, he still was going to leave. I mean, he wanted to get back east,
Patino,
and he has all his reasons, and throwing more money at him was not going to be the answer. It was a temporary Band-Aid.
Totally.
But as far as Borrego goes, so this is the other side of this coin. If you bring in a guy like him, the game is, when they say he doesn't have college experience, I don't think that's a college game that people think that we're playing anymore. It's a semi-pro. Yep. And what did he do as a D-League coach? I mean, he was used to dealing with
D-League. He was in the NBA,
guys.
Man. Borrego was an NBA head coach, not D-League. Like, he was the head coach of the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, he was an NBA head coach.
Yeah. Thanks for correcting me. But I think the direction I'm going with that is he's dealing with the youth of now guys that have agents getting paid. Some are getting paid a lot. Some are not getting paid as much. And he's having to deal with all those personalities. And I think he's more fitted for the game today than what used to be 4 or 5 years ago.
I agree with you.
And I don't know that much about him. You kind of painted a great picture of what he kind of represents and where his background has been. And I'm leaning a little his way, or a coach similar to that. And I would probably finish this conversation with, I still think we need a heavily defensive-minded coach. I think that's where the game's always going to be, especially. And I think the Pit, we used to be offense. I remember many, many years, it was always about offense. I'm all about defense. I love defense. I think this town has embraced defense, and I think that's a direction we have to go.
Thanks, man. No, it's a great call. Thank you, Mike. Man, you guys are bringing this. It's good. Fred, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Fred.
Hey, guys. I'm also for Alford, and let me tell you why. He said he wanted to give us 10 years, wanted to sign up for 10 years, and, of course, we all saw what happened. But, gosh darn, I mean, the guy wanted to put 10 years in here, but if you're going to go to UCLA and get $3 million more, then that's not stupid of him to do that. But the thing is, a lot of people aren't even thinking about this, he's got family here. His kids both played basketball here. Both him and Neil's kids both played basketball here. They have tons of friends right now. When he got married and stuff, he had all these guys from Albuquerque in his wedding. He also has 2 daughter-in-laws. Neil's daughter married an Albuquerque girl. Alford married an Albuquerque girl. And so, I mean, gosh darn, they have a lot going for him. And then the thing nice about Alford, if we can get him, and if they offer him a job, would be I think he wouldn't be leaving anywhere now. He'd be here for good. He could probably put in a good 6 to 10 years, and then we know like when he's given up, and then we can find a coach easier that way. But I just think he'd be a perfect fit for coming here. He's only had one bad season. That was this year, and that wasn't as bad. It was 17-16. Otherwise, he's had winning seasons everywhere he's gone. And look at his record here, what he's did. I guess the one guy mentioned all the things, all allocates that he's had. The one thing I wouldn't do is I'm not going to give up my tickets like Jeff.
Yeah, all right, Fred. Yeah, I appreciate you. Every line is full, so I want to get as many in as we can. Is it weird that I'm surprised at the Alford love right now and support?
No, it's been picking up.
All right. Al, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Al.
Hi. I just wanted to, since everybody's getting some love from way back, how about we bring back Dave Bliss?
I'll get Kenny on that. Yeah. All right, man.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have.
All right, let me hit this break. 505-246-0600. If you're there, please stay. I want to hear from you. I don't know why I'm surprised. I just a little bit of surprise, but I'm not sure why. All right, on the spot automotive detailing. they detail my vehicle. They come to me and detail my vehicle. They come to you where it's convenient. They will make your car look and feel and smell like it's brand new. You can get that new car feel without that new car cost. It's one of your biggest investments. Take care of it. And talk to them about their paint protection film and ceramic coating, which will prevent those nasty scratches and stains and fading paint. They are the best. They were awarded best in the city. Why? Because they are the best in the city and they know what it takes to provide quality care for your vehicle. So protect your car's value and book with them today. It's On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Go online. It's all right there at otsdetailing.com. otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as Red and Green.
I got a Grady email to get to. I got an Edward call to get to. That should take up the whole segment, right?
Oh, man, that might take us into tomorrow.
505-246-0610. Hello, Edward. You're on the Sports Animal. Good day, sir.
Well, good day. Thanks for the preamble. You know the beauty of what you're doing, Jeff and JJ. You are providing a couch because your callers, and they've been brilliant, even the colloquial savant, Jeffrey, which I'm a big fan of, he knows this, and I learn something new every day when I hear him. They are going through the grief and loss model of shock, anger, denial, bargaining, acceptance. Even the savant, Jeffrey. And right now, I think the Lobo fans are in the bargaining stage. And you could research this because it's powerful. Shock, anger, denial, bargaining, acceptance. And I've said twice, and I called 2 days ago and said, the sooner that an individual or an organization or an entity understands who and what they are and what and who and what they're not, then you accept it and you move on to the better version of yourself, right? Now, applying it towards basketball, I'm not a big basketball savant for UNM, but I do think that bringing back Alfred would be a good move, quite honestly.
Really?
Because he was more successful, and I was a huge fan of the coach that just left. But as other callers have broken down, the rough year the first year, sixth place finish, and then a wonderful year this past year, which that's nice aggression, right? But it's interesting to hear your callers go through this process, and I think it's beautiful. And your callers have even alluded to it. They're grateful for the platform that you provide. So it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I like to see all these stories unfold. But nicely done, gentlemen.
Thanks, man. It's been an interesting few days, man, and I think you're all over the place, and I think it's cool. I think it's fair. I tell if it's in fact grieving, and look, I mean, call it what you want, whether it's grieving or you're just dealing with it. You do it at your own pace, in your own way. Right?
No one knows what it means, but it gets the people going.
Mm-hmm. All right. New mindsets die high. Die hard, it says. Lobo Basketball Nation counselors of the OD in the AM. This is an email from Grady. And just like clockwork, the calls to drop football, spend less on football, stop trying to get better in football are pouring in. Oh, and the Let's Be Gonzaga talk, too. By the way, I wonder if those Let's Be Gonzaga folks have bothered to check Gonzaga's website. Because if they did, they'd see that Gonzaga has a lineup full of Olympic sports for both men and women. They just don't have football. So when a lot of those same Let's Be Gonzaga people also say, sorry, but nobody cares about baseball, tennis, track, etc., it cracks me up because Gonzaga certainly cares about those other sports. I've only heard a few callers and or emailers point out the real and best solution: increase UNM's athletic budget. Like it or not, the athletic department is just like the math, chemistry, and music departments. And while the athletic department is constructed as such that it can offset its allocated budget by revenue it generates, it's just foolish to think that it can somehow become self-sustaining. It's not how it works. Jeff points out every year that there are only about 10 athletic departments nationwide that generate enough money to be 100% offset their allocated budgets, period. And I'm 100% sure Gonzaga is not one of those 10 athletic departments. I understand the sports venture model and the idea of asking for donations, as well as listeners like Travis asking for fans to kick in more money. But just like about every other athletic department in the country, the impactful dollars come from the state allocated budget. The state needs to decide if it wants to spend the money to have a competitive athletic department, just like it does have to a top-notch business school and medical school. There aren't enough people living in the state to generate enough donations to offset the underfunded athletic department. And you don't throw good, or they quote, you don't throw my good tax dollars after bad, end quote, folks. Miss me with your crying. The day any of you can tell me how much you actually pay in taxes for the UNM athletic department budget will be the day your crying holds any water. The legislative session is over, and outside of Rudy, I'm willing to bet all of your tax dollars allocated to UNM's athletic budget that none of the rest of you lobbied for more money for UNM. We have the universities and the athletic departments we pay for. Sneezing my arse off in the middle of all these juniper trees, Grady and Santa Fe by way of UNM. It's a lot in there. Basically, what he's saying is you got to fund it. Look, I think it's 12% on an annual basis, regularly, somewhere between 12 and 16% of the athletic departments in America who operate in the black. I'm not telling you it's a good model. I'm just telling you it's the way it is. Most of them are underwater and are subsidized by the university. Well, all right. We're gonna say, when are you gonna guess? What's today? Thursday? You gonna guess Monday? I'm just gonna guess. Sure. Right? Or does it go into, like Kurt was saying, you go to the Final Four when all the coaches and ADs get together and it's like a big job fair at the hotel? I think it happens before that. Everybody else is happening before that. Villanova sounds like they're done.
I don't expect it to go long, but if it happens, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whenever it happens, you know where you're going to come to discuss and break it all down. It's right here on the opening draft.
Yeah, we'll have that. People in Albuquerque are doing the typical Albuquerque things, says the text line. They just don't want to be alone, so they want to go back to their ex because their partner left them, and now they're hurt. Alfred was great, but we need to move into the future. I also don't miss Noodles blaming his players and throwing a fit in press conferences. If you want the best basketball coach available, it's James Borrego. If you want someone that loves to be here, it's James Borrego. This is a clear-cut discussion. That's on the text line. Mud asks, why are people afraid of the future of Mountain West basketball? Why don't we give it a chance? The teams are going to upgrade their stock by paying UNLV, New Mexico, etc. You said it yourself, every team has the resources to win championships, but it takes a good coach to flip it around. When Utah State came in, they weren't a powerhouse, nor was Nevada. The right coach will make the team good, hence will make the conference good. Thank you to Jerry Palm, who's with us today. And you guys have killed it last couple of days. This is fun every day, but and I don't want to say fun in a way. It's been enjoyable talking to people, hearing new voices and a lot of points of view, and it's been good stuff. Colin Coward's next, Jim Rome after that, 2 men on, then we get NCAA basketball. We're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio starting at 7 a.m. Adrian, great work. Sorry about my tardiness jumping on. He's JJ Buck. I'm Jeff Symbieta. Big day for you?
Huge day.
All right. Enjoy it, please. Hey, be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the